That's right. If you're like, Michael, I've seen your episodes before. You talk about having a bad habit buying Starbucks all the time. Yep, I still have it. I don't know how to get over it. This thing is worse than opiates, I think. There's going to be a special on this thing in like 20 years about how Starbucks had crack in it or something. I don't know, but I keep paying $8 a cup for it, and they keep on making it wrong every time. I will say, in Goldsboro, if you go to Berkeley, most of the time Berkeley will get your order right. They have a superpower there. It's like a meta-human. Her name's Gabby, I think. My wife knows her. Knows her kind of like going to Starbucks because she's also a crack addict. So Gabby can make it right. I don't know what it is. I don't know. At Wayne Memorial, like I went this morning and ordered my caramel macchiato upside down with extra caramel drizzle, extra whipped cream. And when you get that, it's supposed to have whipped cream on top, about this thick, and then some caramel drizzle with a nice little pattern. But the people at Wayne, I don't know what they do. You can tell they try to put whipped cream in it, but it sinks. Are you guys using a different kind of whipped cream? What, does Gabby have a secret whipped cream that floats? I don't get it. I don't get why you can't make it like Gabby. I mean, Gabby don't look to be like a special meta-human or a superpower woman. She looks like she's just an average, 20-year-old kid or something. She don't like, but she can make them every time perfect. Me and my wife both agree because they make her white mocha and it's perfect every time, and it's perfect here. But if you go to Wayne, most of the time you're not gonna get it. Most of the time you're gonna get a hot cup of coffee, and they'll have some little frothy things up top that you may have in it, and you can tell like maybe he tried dropping some whipped cream in it, but it just fell to the bottom of the cup. So I don't know, but I mean, like I said before, it's the whole treat. I don't know why you want to get a coffee if you can't lick the whipped cream and the caramel off the top of it before you drink it. Kind of stupid, but that's just my opinion. If you don't know by now, this is Rayden Chronicles. It said it on the title. You should have read it. This is just me. I get up here and talk some bullshit for like 15-20 minutes. I'm a drone pilot, and I have a video production business. I'm on the way to a job in Johnston County now. Look at me. I said I was going to work on my speaking, making sure that I pronounced everything correctly, and here I am talking 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm going to slow that down. 1,000,000 miles an hour. 1,000,000 miles an hour. Man, that southern accent's heavy. It's weird because when I hear myself talk, I sound like a meatloaf sandwich to me. I'm talking like I sound like some hillbilly white trash meatloaf sandwich. But I don't know. I've had other people. I had one guy tell me I was British. He's like, "Are you British?" I was like, "What?" So I'm trying to work on myself and talk. I am trying to work on myself, talk and pronounce all the words. Yesterday I had an interesting thing. I lost a job to another videographer. Now, when I say I lost this job to another videographer, it's what you would expect. If you lose a job to Philip Benz, I mean, that's not losing a job. You just, somebody better than you got a job. And, I tell people, like, if you got the money to hire Philip, you should probably hire Philip. Don't expect me to do what he does. So yeah, but Philip, just when you think, if you're like me and you worry, just when you think there's no more real people in the world, boom, somebody real steps up. So Philip called me yesterday and he's like, "Hey, what's up? Call me if you can." I called him. He's like, "Hey, full transparency, I just got off the phone with one of your clients. They're calling me about doing a video." So I'm like, well, first of all, that speaks volumes of character for Philip. And he knows where I stand. He knows I don't have any ego. He knows I'm here to learn. So he actually told him, "Look, I'm not trying to poach clients from anybody. I know, you guys are working with Michael. I'd like to bring Michael in and work with us on this deal. And I don't know how much he's going to use me, maybe just for drone stuff. And if he does, that's cool. I would like to go and work with him when he's working and kind of like be his shadow and see what he's doing. I'll carry his shit again. I don't care. I'll carry his tripods and his old beat up tripods and stuff. You know you got some beat up tripods, Phil. Maybe you upgraded by now. I don't know. But yeah, man, there's not but a few real MFers in this world. And I got on a short list. One of my friends, Ashley Bruner, for one, just straight up a real dude. He passed away, of course. And, you know, there's a couple more people in my life that I know, like, man, if I ask them, oh, they're going to give me the truth. They're going to tell me exactly what they think. They're going to give me their truth, but they're not scared to. They're not going to sugarcoat it for my benefit, or hurt my feelings, or tell me, like, no, man, that's good, when it's not. They're going to straight up tell me, like, look, that sucks. The reason you're not getting work is because of A, B. Like, I appreciate that. Now, if you don't know what you're talking about, and you're talking condescending to me, like I'm an idiot, then we got major problems. That's probably going to result, if it keeps going, into some kind of physical activity. But, and yes, I had a guy ask one time, like, what are you going to do? Hit me with your pocketbook? If I have a pocketbook, yeah, I will hit the shit out of you with a pocketbook. Or purse, or pantyhose, I don't care. So yes. But, yeah, if you tell me the truth, I'm good with you, dog. You are my best friend if you tell me the truth. That's what I want. I don't care if it's hard. I say I don't have an ego. Egos don't exist. Like, that's the whole joke. You know, people say, you gotta work really hard at meditating and finding your inner self, you know, finding that ego, when there's no ego that exists, which is kind of whole joke of the thing, you know, of the whole thing. But point is I don't have an ego to the point where, like, I don't take that when somebody tells me stuff like that, or somebody tells, like, look, like, in other words, Philip Bentz, somebody as good as he is at his craft, comes up and tells me, like, hey, man, that sucks, you shouldn't do it that way. There's not a piece in me that's gonna be like, well, man, screw that, man, I thought it was a good shot. I think, I mean, that shot, like, no, what I meant to do there, man, you're not understanding that. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, why do you think it sucks? Tell me why, so I can understand that now. I get it, you say it sucks, I'm in agreement with you. Like, I don't have that ego part of me that cares about, like, oh, that was my idea. Like, I'm just here to learn. I'm just here to suck it all in, just suck all this knowledge in. Like, if I can hang around Philip or whoever that's got skills, you know, Ryan Bevel, Kyle Tyndall, I'm just ready to hang with them and learn some stuff, teach me some stuff. Everything I know, I'm just literally learning on the spot. Luckily, I got this kind of mind frame where I'm thinking kind of marketing. I'm thinking kind of, you know, videography and cut movie-wise, you know, which, I mean, that's kind of the thing of the day. That's what I heard Howard Stern talking about the other day. Well, excuse me, it was Seth Rogen on Howard Stern. But he was saying, like, kids 12 years old now know how to cut a movie. They know how to open it, do an establishing scene. They know how to go to a still. They know how to go to a, you know, a split screen. I mean, they get the flow of it. You know, we've seen movies so long, we kind of all know it. But I had it early. Like, I was cutting wrestling tapes up on VHS tapes and making promos with them. So I just always kind of liked and had this thing. So that's all I want to do. I just want to work in video. I'm not tied or married to the whole having Rayden. You had to have a name, so that's what I picked. I just took my kid's name, Ryan and Caden, and I just combined every other letter, and it spelled Rayden, and I was like, sounds like a word to me. So that's what I did. But yeah, so I'm using all this. What I'm saying is I'm using all of this as a learning experience. Instead of taking this like, well, man, the guy from, you know, my current client, he's called Philip. He should have called. Like, I don't take it all. Like, right after, like, he's kind of ghosted me, the guy from his company. I hit him up and I said, look, you know, you've been sending me commercials. I still want to do these commercials. Just let me know what you want to do, how you want to move forward. Because I don't want to start thinking and brain, you know, I don't want to start looking at stuff and like coming up with ideas and writing commercials and then do them. And he's just like, yeah, I didn't ever say do those. So I'm just trying to get a word like, go, yeah, I want you to spend 10 hours on this, go. So, you know, he hadn't told me to do anything. So he's ghosted me for like, I don't know, a couple weeks. And he has been on the road doing stuff. But then like yesterday, when Philip hits me up, tells me like, hey, this guy just called me. I want to be transparent with you. He wants to do a commercial with me, you know, and I'm going to take it. but I'm going to tell you about it. And I told him that, you know, it's all, you know, all going to be transparent. So I'm like, cool with the Philip part. And then right after that, you know, the guy texts me, is like, hey man, I mean, like, the timing's impeccable, right? But he texts me and says, hey, sorry, we've been busy. And I'm like, well, he's not writing me because of that. He's writing me because he probably didn't know me and Philip were friends, maybe. He probably thought I knew of Philip. And then me and Philip aren't close friends. We're not like hang out buddies or go out or anything. But you know, like I say, the videography world is kind of sparse in this area. So who do you talk to when you're in the video? Just other videographers. There's just few around. But he probably kind of figured out during the meeting that, you know, well, Philip's going to tell Michael. Obviously, he wants to use him on a project, so I need to say something to him. So he sent me a video and then was like, hey man, I'm busy. So I'm like, just be up front. Why don't you just call and say, hey man, look, I contacted Philip. I really want a nice commercial. Philip's work really looks good. What do you think I'm going to do? Disagree with you? I literally am the one who told you, if you got the money, call Philip Benz if you want that, like, commercial. The boy is good. Like, facts. So, I don't know. People try to skirt around. Just be true. Just be honest. Just be truthful. I mean, if you came to me and said that, like, what could I have said? I mean, what could I have done? Been like, no, man, my work's better than Philip's. I'm not stupid. I'd have been like, awesome, dude. Like, he's gonna make you one kick-ass commercial. Then you're gonna have a bomb fire-ass commercial when he gets done with it. But people are the way they are, and you know, status. This is a thing where you should learn. Status is definitely. How do I say this? Status will definitely set value in the community, right? Everybody can lie about it all they want to, and if they're not in a situation, they can always say like, nah, that's not it. But value in the community is something like, in other words, when I had the band Diggerfoot, you know, we always talked about, like in the early days, we were booking, like before we were even Diggerfoot, we're like the Michael Jones band or Ambush, and we try to book something, and you know, it'd be like $500, but like, they always say, like, once you get in that $500 bracket, it's hard to get out of that $500 bracket, because then the places you're playing, say you play a year for $500, then the next year you're like, hey, look, I need to go up to $750. They're like, well, what are you bringing different? It's the same show as you had last time. Now, if you're making substantial numbers in the club, then you can always point and just be like, because we pack the house out every night, which is what happened with us. So, on this, I just got to get more confident, because I don't feel like I'm that good at videography. Now, with music, hold on. With music, I've said this before, I'm not the best singer at all. Like, I can kind of stay on tune. Some songs I can sing okay. Some songs I don't have any business singing at all. And some songs I can do really well, but that's probably few and far between. As far as vocally singing. Obviously, I can't play guitar. I'm a mediocre drummer. But this goes from around here up to Hollywood, to the Nashville stages, to the top recording artists anywhere. Nobody can out-entertain me. Nobody. You put me in a challenge with somebody on the stage as an entertainment thing. I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, if this guy's got $40 million road crew with lights versus me and I don't have that. I'm saying you put us on the same stage with the same crowd, doing covers at least. I'm not gonna challenge like a artist that does original versus I don't have original. I'm just saying any cover band or any artist want to do cover songs, just the pure entertainment value, I'll take on anybody, because that's my thing. In the video world though, I don't feel like that at all. I look at Philip, Kyle Tyndall, Ryan Bevel, and I'm just like, man, those guys are awesome. And I don't look at my work like that. I'm just kind of like, I mean, I guess I do all right. You know, like it looks okay to me. So that's why I'm not as confident. But my whole point in saying this is, you know, the first time me and this client that I'm talking about that went to Philip, the first time me and him met, we made an appointment. He didn't even show up till like an hour and a half later. Like he missed a whole appointment and then just walked in like, what? Like he was high or something. The next time, me and him had talked like about some things. We mentioned like 5 or 6 things. He had mentioned like some stuff he wanted to do, then he'd change his mind. He'd be like, well, I don't know, call me back. We'll try to do this. I don't know if the place is gonna be ready, this and that. And then, so when I got there, one day like I got off, I didn't remember what he said we were gonna shoot. I just remember we had the event. He didn't show up for that either. And you know, it's kind of just been like pulling teeth out of this guy. I mentioned on other commercials, on other episodes of this, kind of been like pulling teeth. Like this guy sat down, I'm like, what do you want to do? What's your vision? And he just, you know, just won't hardly talk. And I'm like, damn, I've never been around anybody like this. It just not only has trouble telling me their vision, just not, they won't say anything. Like, they won't say words. So, man, if I get all the way up here and it starts raining. Anyway, so my point is about the value is that he went to Philip. Now, Philip's probably substantially a lot more than I am, and deservingly so. And Philip, I've mentioned before, some people, if you say Philip, they'll be like, man, that dude's a dickhead. Now, maybe if you hang around him enough, he is a dickhead. I don't know. Maybe I hadn't hung around him. I've hung around him enough. And like I say, I like honest people. I like brutally honest people. So it's kind of hard to hurt my feelings if you're being brutally honest. Now, if you're just like, well, you can't do it because you're stupid, Michael, but then we're going to have a problem. But if you're just being honest, like, man, the reason that shot's not good because it's not in focus. Look at this. Look right here at the edge. It's like, if you tell me that, I'm going to be like, got it. I'm going to work on that. How can I make that better? So Philip goes in there. He's all business. He's like, what do you want? Guy at this other, you know, this client we're talking about, he understands that Philip knows what he's talking about. Versus I'm kind of going in there with this kind of timid attitude, like, what do you want to do, man? Yeah, we can do anything you want to do, man, blah, 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 you know? And he's kind of seeing me like, oh, this guy. You know, like at the time, my work was slow. I tend to get a little bit personal with people around here, which I shouldn't do. So, like, you know, when I went in that time, I told him, like, well, work's slow. You know, work's really slow. And I asked him, like, you know, if I get my check. And I was like, man, work's been slow. I'd ask, you know, is there any way I get, you know, like, as soon as we finished, I gave my invoice. So I was like, anybody can run and get a check today? So he was probably just like, dude, here's a videographer. He can't even get any business. So he's not good. Versus Philip, let me fit you into my schedule because I'm going from Florida to Georgia to Alabama to San Jose. That looks better. So I've got to change all that about myself. I got to change that value, look. I probably got to change my look. I think sometimes I have that dad 90s vibe look. You know, I'm in a tribe, the tribe who got all the tribal tattoos on their arms in the 90s, tattoos, things. So I got to try to change all that up and get better on my speaking. Get better with my confidence. Get better with not worrying about hurting people's feelings when I'm talking to them. Even though when I say hurting people's feelings, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about I'm the video specialist, right? If they hire me. I don't know what my car's doing right now. It's just stopped at a stop sign. I'm the video specialist when they hire me. And what happens is they hire me, then they want to tell me what to do or what they had in mind, which don't work. And where Philip will be like, no, that's not gonna work, and here's why. Here's why mine's gonna work. All right, that happens. They don't question Philip because they feel he puts himself in that authority value role, and they're like, dude, well, he's the master. He knows what he's talking about. Where me, they're just like, this little kid. He just told me he didn't have any work, and he's slow on business, and yada yada yada. So they don't really look at me as the value guy. So I got to change that. But I'm up here. It looks like it's about to rain. I'm about to go back here and take some shots at this house right quick. Hopefully before it rains. I will talk to you guys later. Love you.